Paris Saint-Germain delivered a crushing blow, ending Aston Villa's 7-match winning streak with a convincing 3-1 victory at the Parc des Princes. The atmosphere at the stadium before the match was electric, as PSG welcomed a Villa side in full form. Both teams were experiencing their best runs of the season and were facing off for the first time in European competition. Both PSG and Villa had hopes of progressing further in the Champions League, and the performance in this first leg was crucial. PSG had hit rock bottom when they nearly got eliminated in the group stage, but they have bounced back strong. Under Luis Enrique, the youngest team left in the Champions League with an average age just over 24, they've achieved remarkable feats, demolishing opponents 10-0, defeating Liverpool on penalties, and becoming the most prolific scoring team in Europe with 124 goals just behind Barcelona. What's even more astonishing is that they've accomplished all of this despite parting ways with Kylian Mbappé last summer. Under Enrique's leadership, PSG have been both hungry and flourishing, with standout performances from stars like Ousmane Dembélé. The French forward is having the best season of his career, with 24 goals and 12 assists in 2025, leading Europe in goal contributions this year. In the Champions League, he's shown his lethal instincts with 7 goals in his last 6 matches. And today, in Luis Enrique's 100th match as PSG head coach, Dembélé had the chance to prove his class right in Paris. PSG's starting lineup featured Donnarumma in goal, a defense including Hakimi, Beraldo, and Paco Mendes, with João Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz in midfield. The attacking trio consisted of Dembélé, Kvaratskhelia, and Goncalo Ramos. The absence of captain Marquinhos due to suspension didn't weaken PSG, as the depth of their squad remained formidable enough to make any opponent cautious. On the other side, Aston Villa brought a resilient and inspired team to Paris. Unai Emery's side had been in impressive form, winning 7 consecutive matches across all competitions, battling hard for a top 4 spot in the Premier League, reaching the FA Cup semi-finals and now the Champions League quarter-finals. Villa's attack was full of firepower, with Marcus Rashford regaining his form since joining from Manchester United, Morgan Rogers having scored 7 goals and provided 5 assists in 2025, and Marco Asensio, the former Real Madrid player, surely eager to prove PSG wrong for letting him go. Villa's lineup included goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, a defensive cash, Pau Torres and Digne, with Kamara and Tielemans in midfield, and Rodgers, McGinn, and Ramsey supporting Rashford in attack. Watkins was available as a strategic substitute while Duran missed out due to eligibility issues. From the very first minutes, PSG showed their intent. They moved the ball fluidly, but Villa remained composed. Soon after, Dembélé executed a skillful turn in midfield before unleashing a powerful shot, but it was slightly off target. The home side continued to apply pressure, and from a corner kick, the ball fell perfectly to Dembélé, but his close-range shot was brilliantly saved by Emiliano Martinez. The Argentine keeper continued to make crucial saves, particularly with a stunning diving stop to deny a dangerous shot inside the penalty box. The match heated up as Matty Cash received the first yellow card for a rough challenge on Kvaratskhelia. Villa opted for a physical approach, not hesitating to foul in an attempt to disrupt PSG's attacking rhythm. Despite this, the home side's elegant passing continued to create waves of danger in front of Martinez's goal. And then Dembélé, who had been the standout performer from the start, made his mark once again. The game at the Parc des Princes was incredibly dramatic as Paris Saint-Germain defeated Aston Villa 3-1, ending the English side's 7-match winning streak. The atmosphere in the stands before the match was electric, as both PSG and Villa were having a spectacular season and were meeting for the first time in European competition. With a desire to reach the semi-finals, both teams understood that the performance in this first leg would be decisive. The home side entered the match in impressive form under Luis Enrique. From nearly failing to progress out of the group stage, PSG had made a strong turnaround, demolishing Braga 10-0 on aggregate, then eliminating Liverpool in a thrilling penalty shootout. With the youngest squad in this year's Champions League, averaging just over 24 years old, PSG had scored 124 goals in all competitions, second only to Barcelona. Notably, all of this had come after Kylian Mbappe's departure in the summer. Under Enrique's leadership, PSG had become a team both hungry for success and playing spectacular football, with standout performances from Ousmane Dembélé, who had scored 24 goals and provided 2 assists in 2025. On the other hand, Aston Villa arrived in Paris with high confidence. Unai Emery's side was not only in the top 4 race in the Premier League, but also made deep runs in both the FA Cup and Champions League. Their attack boasted dangerous threats like Marcus Rashford, who was rediscovering his form after leaving Manchester United, and Morgan Rogers, who had scored 7 goals and provided 5 assists in 2025. This match was also an opportunity for Marco Asensio to show PSG they had made a mistake letting him go. From the opening minutes, PSG took control of the game and pressed Villa, but the visitors remained composed. Dembele continuously caused trouble for the opposition defense, but Martinez pulled off some brilliant saves to keep his goal intact. Just as PSG was pushing forward for the opening goal, Villa struck a devastating counterattack in the 35th minute. John McGinn won the ball from Fabian Rui and quickly launched a lightning-fast attack. The ball was switched to the left flank, where Tielemans delivered a dangerous cross, allowing Morgan Rogers to easily tap it in at close range, putting the English side ahead. Trailing by a goal, PSG immediately ramped up the pressure. Just 3 minutes after conceding, Désiré Doué unleashed a dangerous curling shot that forced Martinez into a stunning save. But soon after, the French youngster made his mark with a masterpiece. Receiving a clever pass from Nuno Mendes, Doué unleashed a powerful left-footed strike from about 25 meters out, the ball hitting the underside of the crossbar before crashing into the net. A moment of brilliance that sent the Parc des Princes into raptures. With this goal, Doué increased his tally to 12 goals, along with 11 assists in his first season at PSG. The game was brought back to a 1-1 draw at halftime, reflecting the balance of play on the field. PSG controlled possession and had standout individual performances, but Villa showed their sharpness on the counterattack. In the second half, Unai Emery quickly adjusted his tactics by substituting Matty Cash, who had been booked and was struggling with the pace of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, for centre-back Ezri Kuntz, in an attempt to strengthen their physical presence. However, before Villa could implement their strategy, they conceded another goal. In the 49th minute, PSG launched a well-structured attack down the left wing with the ball reaching Kvaratskelia's feet. This time, the Georgian star decided to take matters into his own hands with a brilliant piece of skill. He faced off against Konsa, expertly shifting the ball with the sole of his boot before firing a left-footed shot from a tight angle. The ball clipped the underside of the crossbar and flew into the net, leaving the entire stadium holding its breath. It was a goal every bit as spectacular as Doué's first-half wonder strike, reminiscent of Ryan Giggs' iconic solo effort. Trailing 2-1, Villa pushed forward in search of an equalizer, but their attack struggled against PSG's resolute defense. Meanwhile, the home side nearly made it 3-1 when Kvaratskhelia unleashed a dangerous long-range shot, forcing Martinez into another remarkable save. Hakimi also had a chance to score but couldn't find a way past the Argentine goalkeeper. In the closing minutes, both managers made frequent substitutions. PSG brought on Bradley Barcola and Warren Zaire-Emery to bolster their midfield, while Villa introduced Amadou Onana, John Duran, and Ollie Watkins in search of a breakthrough. However, while Villa were still adjusting their tactics, PSG struck the final blow that decided the match. In the 90+2-minute, PSG orchestrated a textbook counter-attack. Dembele picked out Nuno Mendes with a perfectly timed through ball. The Portuguese left-back took a composed touch, cutting inside with his right foot to fool both Konsa and Martinez before calmly slotting the ball into the top of the net. A class finish from a fullback and a dagger that sealed Villa's fate. The final whistle blew, confirming PSG's convincing 3-1 victory. Luis Enrique's side demonstrated their strength and composure with an outstanding second-half performance, putting one foot firmly in the Champions League semi-finals. Meanwhile, Aston Villa will need a miracle in the return leg at Villa Park if they are to keep their magical run alive. Paris Saint-Germain showed the heart of true title contenders with their 3-1 first-leg victory, placing one foot in the Champions League semi-finals. On a fiery night in Paris, the youthful and bold players stepped up, asserting their dominance. PSG are not only heavy favorites for the Champions League title, but are also eyeing a double after recently clinching the Ligue 1 crown. Ahead of them lies a clear path, while Aston Villa will need a miracle at Villa Park to keep their dream alive.